Hey everybody, it's Pastor Jason. I wanted to talk a little bit about 2020 and this crazy year that it's been. Talk a little bit about what we've gone through and maybe where we're starting to head. So let's go all the way back to January. We had what I would call like a Sunday morning family and a Sunday night family. With Sunday morning, we were at New Life in Bel Air, and Sunday night, we were up at Parkview at Box Hill. And I'll be honest with you, quite a bit of the month, matter of fact, most of the month of January, Sunday morning, I was preaching to 6 or 7 people. So we were doing all the setting up and all the tearing down and had 6, 7 people besides me there. Uh, Strange thing was is we would go Sunday night to Parkview, and all of a sudden there were 20 to 25 people, right? So what we're doing is like 3 and 4 times the size. The outreach is 3 or 4 times the size of the church. Um, so that was January, and then we rolled into February, I think, and if I'm not mistaken, we got at least to Ash Wednesday. We got to have a service for that over at Parkview, and people were starting to come. Even on Sunday morning, we were hitting closer to 15, 20 people had started to come to the church, and some new people, some people we hadn't seen before, and people we had been praying for, and they started coming, and then the COVID hit, and everything got shut down, and it got shut down like that, and we had to figure out real quick what to do. So, like everybody else in the country, we pivoted to putting services online. And I got to give Greg a big shout out here for all the work he did. He came over. I mean, for months he was over at least once a week. We were filming services, sometimes live Sunday morning, sometimes Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, depending on when we were available. We were doing it, and at first we were just simply imitating the normal service that we were doing, just on video, and then we started changing it as we realized that we had a different format and a different time length we were looking for, and so we did that, and I'll be honest with you, it was miserable. It's impossible to pastor people you can't see. And people that you can't be around, and it was miserable. And preaching to a camera is awful. Um, Thankfully, Greg was there like 9 out of 10 weeks, or the majority of the time that we were doing this, and so Greg got preached at a lot for a while, and so we did it just like everybody else, right? Every other church had to figure out how to start a YouTube channel and how to try to get the videos to as many people as they could, and so things were going okay, I think, in the beginning. At least up through Easter, right? People were watching, and we were looking at the numbers and thinking, well, there's a lot of people watching. Like a lot more people were watching than were coming on Sunday morning or even Sunday night. So that was good. So we thought that, well, this is a good thing. We started realizing a couple things though. One was that the majority of the people at Parkview were not able to watch the services. So it's a technological thing. We just couldn't find a way, and I even tried some other ways of getting to them, to to get the messages, the videos and stuff to them, and it wasn't working out for the majority of people there. Um, and then we started noticing, particularly after Easter, that the viewer numbers were going down, like way down. Um, Somewhere along the way, we did figure out that the way Facebook tracks their numbers is a little inflated. They might tell you that, like, let's say 300 people watched your video, but then and that's great, right? Given that 6 people were coming to church, 300 people watching the video is great. Um, but we got looking into that, and they count any 3-second view as a view. So if you have autoplay on your phone and you're scrolling by and our church video pops up, that's going to count as a view, even though you didn't watch the video. When we started looking at it, very few people were watching all the way through the video. And then after Easter, we noticed that very few people were even making an attempt. Now, I saw this. If you look nationally, this seemed to be the case with churches across the board. People were tired of looking at cameras. They were tired of going on Zoom. They were tired of watching and having church on their TV or on their phone. And so, attendance in that way was just dying. And I think by then, and certainly moving into April, May, we were all getting antsy and tired of not being together. So we had a plan. to start getting together. It was at my parents' house, at Will and Dawn's house out in Forest Hill. And we were going to go outside, and we were going to try to invite, and we did invite whoever wanted to come, and including the people at Parkview who could make it. And so we did that for 2 weeks, and it went well. I mean, it was like 20 people there. Now, some of them were from Parkview, and I'll be honest, some of them were people from other churches who were waiting for their churches to open back up. We had a couple of weeks of having to be kind of itinerant and moving around because just for scheduling reasons. All along the way here, we had been going to Parkview once a week to grocery shop, but just found a way to be handy and useful. And so we would go there once a week and shop, and it was one of the highlights, and it has been and still is one of the highlights of my week. Just the opportunity to go in and be the hands and feet of Jesus to some people who need help, but also to see people, right, to be able to talk and interact. And so it was asked of me by some of the residents there, like, is there any way we can get something going back here? Like, can we meet outside and have some kind of a gathering or a Bible study or something? And the plan, I think, was to get going back there as soon as possible. We realized that the bulk of the people we were ministering to were living at Parkview, but again, the bulk of them couldn't watch us online or participate online. So we needed to be there, and we needed to be present. So the idea came up to go there on Sundays, and so I grabbed it and said, yeah, let's do this, right? We'll invite all the people who were coming on Sunday morning to Mom and Dad's house, and let's all go to Parkview and worship together. And then later in the year, we would go back to Sunday morning and Sunday night as things kind of cleared up. So it sounds like a great plan, right? Everybody gets included. Problem was, we didn't realize the management there was going to ask us to limit the number of people who could come. They have a corporate office that sets their limits on what they can and can't do, especially during this time. And they're just trying to mitigate, potential exposure and stuff like that. And so instead of having everybody come, we were told we were limited to 10 people. Now we had 20 to 25 people coming just at Parkview. And again, right before when we were outside, we were looking at 15 to 20 people, so that wasn't going to work, right? So we said, okay, well, we'll go to 2 gatherings, right? We'll do a 9 o'clock and a 10:15, and there'll be just 10 people each. We were outside, so if we fudged the 10 people a little bit, or if a couple people showed up, we weren't going to turn them away. We're nice and spread out on the porch and everything there, but we are trying to obey the rules. So when I say fudge the numbers, don't read too much into that. So we've been moving along like that for the summer, and at first we thought, well, this is going to cut out everybody from Sunday morning from being able to come, the non-residents. And then as it was balancing out, like not everybody was coming from Parkview, not everybody could, even though it was there, not everybody could make it downstairs or make the time, and some people were actually going to their church, which is great. So we began to invite everybody else, all of our normal Sunday morning people, Sunday morning family, to come with us and be out back on the patio with us and worship, and that hasn't really happened. There's not a lot. I know there's not a lot of spots, and we were pretty clear about that in the beginning. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to make sure everybody understands that they're invited and welcome to come. So that's kind of where we are right now. That we're there. This past week we were there two times on Sunday morning because the weather's getting ready to change. We approached the management at Parkview about moving indoors because their community room is open, but it's only open during the week when the management's there. So we came up with an idea that we would do a Sunday morning service outside, and then we would do Tuesday afternoon inside. And what we're asking is for people, the residents there, to sign up for one or the other. And if you're going to go to Sunday morning, don't come back Tuesday, because there's actually less people we're allowed to have in the community room than we could have outside. So we got approval on this. This is good. This is a good thing. We're going to give people a chance. Some people can't make it, Sunday morning, so they'll be able to make it Tuesday afternoon, and hopefully this will leave some room for some people who want to come Sunday morning, even non-residents, to come and be a part of that with us. When the weather changes and we can't be outside at all, of course, all along the way, we've been dealing with, Sunday morning weather. It's rained us out at least once. I think it's moved us a couple, once or twice. So when the weather gets too cold to be sitting outside, it's also one of the reasons we haven't gone back to being Sunday evening. Is Sunday morning seems to be really nice weather-wise and temperature-wise. But if we were going to be we had to move indoors. The plan right now is to go to two services, two gatherings inside on Tuesday afternoon, which I realize just isn't going to work for everyone. I think all along this whole year, we've just had to realize that like none of what's going on is great. None of it's ideal for anyone. I'm trying to figure out how to include the most amount of people possible in what we're doing. And it's nuts, right? Because I told you we only had a handful of people at the beginning of the year, and we grew a little bit, and then things shut down. But even inside of the handful of people we have some people who can't come if it's outdoors, whether that's temperature related, weather related, people who just can't come if we're outdoors. We got people who can't come unless everybody's wearing a mask. Now, we've been wearing masks, right? We have some people who won't come if people are wearing masks. We only have we have a limited number of people, and we've already divided them up into 3 or 4 different camps. It's just impossible to please and get everybody in at the same time. So I'm trying. I've been feeling guilty all summer long that we have not been able to get everybody together. All of this stuff, in all honesty, is out of my control. What Parkview does, and even back in the beginnings of the pandemic, when we got shut down from New Life and from Parkview, those weren't my decisions. So you might ask, like, is the possibility there for us to go back to New Life on Sunday morning? And yeah, the possibility there, the offer is there. Actually, they're back open. Pretty restricted as far as, again, how many people can come and then how much cleaning and things have to be done when we're there. And when we were only having a handful of people to begin with, and we were going to put and we already had to set up and tear down, the extra workload doesn't make sense right now. Unless it just doesn't make sense. And currently we're at Parkview, we're not paying rent, so that kind of helps us financially. I do want to take a second and thank everybody who's given over these months. I know traditionally, when I've seen as a pastor, is that when your church is shut down for some reason or doesn't meet on a weekend, people don't give, or they give a lot less. And you all have been amazing. There's been such generosity, and been able to keep this supported and keep us going along. But it certainly doesn't help, or doesn't hurt us. I'm sorry, it doesn't hurt us that we're not paying rent currently. But we would gladly do that. We would gladly do that if there were enough people to get done what needs to get done. It's just so much more work the way it is now, and so many less people that we can have. And there are still people I know, even inside the church, that aren't even ready to come back to church yet, that aren't ready for any kind of public or larger gathering. So, folks, that's where we are. We're going to continue to meet here at Parkview. Because we've been doing, I know we were filming the services and putting them online originally. Stopped doing that. We've kind of shifted on Sunday morning to a format that is a lot less me preaching and talking at everyone, and a lot more interaction and a lot more discussion and a lot more people being involved in the prayer and things like that. It's been awesome. It's been really different and really cool to see it happen. And when we're finally able to get back together and get back to singing and back to the things that we want to be able to do, we're going to have some kind of a hybrid of the old way of doing things and this newer way, and we're going to make it work out. But because we're got people discussing and people talking and praying out loud, and people who are new to this and nervous about it, I'm not going to film that. Puts people on the spot, and it makes people really uncomfortable and really unwilling to talk. And I don't want that to be the case. So I just want to encourage you, if you still want to gather with us, to come and do so on Sunday morning. I'll tell you this, if we're busy enough on a Sunday morning that I need to do 2 gatherings and then do another one on Tuesday, I'm fine with that. I'm just going to try to do what I can do to accommodate. But that's kind of where we are. Again, thanks so much for hanging in there with us, for being a part of what we're doing, for your support, both financial and prayer and just otherwise, just your friendships. And I treasure all of that, and just thank you for it. Hope everything is going well for you and your family. Hope everybody's staying well and safe. And I'm certainly looking forward to when all this passes and we can get back to whatever is going to wind up being normal for us.